On this episode of Siren Sports, Town and Rico attempt to break down the first round of the NBA playoffs, give our breakdowns and predictions to the upcoming superfight between Tank Davis and King Garcia, try to shed some light on who's going number one overall in this Thursday's NFL draft, and do a deep dive into the toxic, tumultuous era of Dan Snyder and the Washington Commanders. Coming up on Siren Sports. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Siren Sports. I am your host, Town. Across from me is Rico.
It's your
How
boy.
you feeling today, Rico?
It's your boy, episode 2. I'm excited to talk about what we got to talk about today. So,
if you know anything about Siren Sports, you know we got some topics to cover, man.
and they always on point.
And we got some motherfucking opinions, too. We got some hot takes in this bitch.
I love hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes are cool. Hot cakes are good, too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, with some syrup and some butter, some hot cakes. Fire.
Always got to have bacon, though, too.
Bacon. Ooh. You know what? We was talking about some chicken and waffles not too long ago. That shit sounds fire as hell.
I need some.
Yeah, for real. All right, man. Well, first and foremost, we would like to give everyone a huge thank you for the amount of support and love that we've been getting from episode 1. Man, this is just the beginning. So, we're only up from here. We can't wait to show you what we got in store over here at Siren Sports.
Facts. Y'all been going crazy. We've been watching it. TikTok's been blowing up. Instagram's been blowing up as well. YouTube channel, insane. We going to get up there. It's baby steps. So, just watch.
Yeah.
Just watch and wait. We appreciate y'all supporting us, though.
That's facts, man. And that's coming directly from the bottom of our hearts. So, before we get into the topics today, I do want to say, make sure y'all go follow us on every fucking social media there is. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it may be. We're on all of them at Siren Sports Pod. Keep up with everything going on, man. We post new content daily, new episodes weekly, and we gonna keep this motherfucking train going.
Don't be a hater.
All right, Rico, there's been some crazy happenings in the NBA playoffs, man. Round 1, we had it picked out. We had a lot of hot takes last week on how the playoffs were going to shake down. And, some of it went the way that we predicted. Others, not so much. How you feel about the playoffs?
I'm going to be honest. It's pretty crazy. Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries to players you wouldn't expect to get hurt are hurt. And John Morant being out caught me off guard. Mm-hmm. Giannis being out caught me off guard. Now we got Kawhi Leonard out, caught me off guard. So, like I said, you never know. The playoffs so unpredictable, but hopefully they can get back healthy and help their teams out because we're getting down to the wire. Some games are going game 3, some of them are going game 4. So, like I said, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. Okay, so let's skip through each series real quick and just kind of give our thoughts. Let's start at the bottom of the West. We got Memphis and LA. How you feeling about those?
It's an interesting series because the bench for the Lakers showed out game 1, and then I don't know what happened in game 2, and then the Grizzlies just pulled it out. Like, they were like, we have to defend our home court, and that's what you have to do. In these playoff series, especially if you're the higher seed, you have to defend your home court. And for them to at least get one win at home, it helps them. But they still have to go on the road and get at least another win because it's not easy to win on the road.
As a 2 seed, they should have taken care of their home court in game 1. Like, you don't let a 7 seed come in and take game 1 on your home court. It's your job to go in and get 2 wins in your home court before you have to go travel to theirs, where you hopefully get 1. And, obviously with the injuries, stuff's going to happen. I feel like game 2 was kind of a fluke. Like, you had Dylan Brooks talking a big game, and he backed it up. He did his thing against LeBron. It takes a lot to get in LeBron's face and be like, you're old.
But also at the same time, AD didn't play the way he should have played too, so that had a lot to do with it too as well.
Honestly, what I chalk all that up to is the Lakers not coming in with the energy that they needed. With Ja Morant and the amount of injuries that the Grizzlies have and the depth that they're relying on, I feel like the Lakers went in like, oh, this is going to be easy. We don't need to bring energy. Guess what? Memphis brings energy.
Exactly.
They bring energy, and if you don't match that energy, you're not going to be able to use your skill positions to win that game.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened in game 2. I feel like they just got too comfortable with Ja being out, but you have to play the way you played game 1. Mm-hmm. They had 5 players in double figures. So, like, Hachimura came out going guns crazy. D'Angelo Russell played really good. Mm-hmm. Reeves played very well as well. And then, LeBron and AD, they're going to do their thing. Yeah. But I feel like they just got too comfortable after winning the first game. and then the second game they're like, oh, okay, we got this in our bag. You can't do that, especially on the road.
And in the playoffs, the intensity that they bring is
Exactly.
going to be crazy. So you have to bring energy. You have to bring the juice, right, Father Juice?
You got to bring the juice out at all times. If you don't got the juice, you just don't got it. But if you got the juice, you got to use it every single time. Use it to your knowledge.
That's right, man. And if you ain't got the juice, you ain't going to win no championship. You ain't going to get no jewelry.
You don't got it if you don't got the juice.
Before we move on to the next series, how do you see this shaking out?
I still got the Lakers. I'm still going to rock with the Lakers. I'm still going with the Lakers on it. I'm not even going to question myself. I'm going with the Lakers still. I feel like they're going to find some way to pull out of it and do what they need to do. They just need to come together as a team like they did that first game.
Got you. 5, 6, or 7 games?
I'm going to go 6.
You're going to go 6?
I'm going to go 6.
Okay. To me, it just depends on John Morant. If he comes back, is he going to be healthy? Last I heard, he couldn't even palm a basketball.
Yeah, exactly. So
And if he comes back, I'm going to say Lakers in 6. If he doesn't come back, I'm going Lakers in 5. I think LeBron and AD turn it on.
oh yeah, they're gonna turn up the heat. LeBron lives for these moments. What can I say?
He definitely does. All right. We're going to jump up to the top of the bracket now. We got the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets and the number 8 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. We pretty much called how this was going to happen. What are your thoughts so far?
We called it already. Bring out the broom. You know, I'm just not impressed with the Timberwolves' play. Like, I don't know. They bore me. And I feel like they're playing against a really talented team, and not all their players that are on the team are playing the way they should be to make the series competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Anthony Edwards has been doing phenomenal in this series, but Gobert, he's been pretty quiet. Cat, he's been
Cat's
quiet for the most.
too, yeah.
It's just been a boring series. Like, we knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
The Nuggets have a great team. Like I said, I want to see them go to the finals, but we're just going to have to see because who they might face the next round, it's going to be a tough series.
It is going to be a tough series. Like I said, we called it. We knew this was going to be either a sweep or a gentleman's sweep in the Nuggets' favor. What I didn't expect is for Denver to play the way they've played. Jokic hasn't had to take over any games.
Which has been good.
The team around him has been able to contribute. Like, Jamal, that boy is back to bubble version of himself.
He must be having some good things going on at home.
Yeah.
You know, Bubble Murray back. If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Bubble Murray was something special, man. So it's great to see him contributing at that level again. I think they finish it up tomorrow in 4. Get the brooms.
Bring the brooms out.
Bring the brooms. Minnesota.
Trash.
All right, man. We're going to jump down to this series is something else. Sacramento, Golden State.
I have watched every single game of this series. I've loved it. It's been chippy. It's everything I wanted in the series I'm getting right now.
Uh-huh.
And the game last night just proved everything to me. Like, seeing the Warriors have to fight to win this series, it's just been great because so many people that watch the NBA are very happy with how the Warriors are being dealt. A lot of people are like, oh, they're being cheated out of their games and stuff. And I think a lot of people are just tired of the dynasty. But seeing them in Sacramento just duke it out, it's been such a great thing to see for me. I've enjoyed it so far. It's been great.
Yeah, it has been a great series, man. Like, Golden State has played so trash on the road this year.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to look at it like it's a level playing field. I feel like they're going to win the home games if they can find a way to win one road game. They get the series.
And I just want to give a shout out to Sacramento. Like, y'all's fan base has been crazy. Like, seeing it just gave me prime, like, 2010 to 17 or 16 OKC vibes. Like, the crowd was going crazy, invested, getting loud. They were throwing the players off the game. That is something I like to see. Like, Sacramento, you deserve to be in the spot that you're in right now.
Yeah, no, Sacramento's an incredible team. And for Sabonis to get the reaction that he got out of Draymond to get him kicked out of a game, like, that's what cost the Warriors a championship against LeBron a few years ago, was Draymond being out a game. So that's huge for a series. Mm-hmm. And the level of juice and intensity that Draymond brings, especially on defense, like,
you need him.
Yeah, you really do. And I'm honestly impressed that the Warriors were able to win that game at home without Draymond last night in the fashion they did.
Exactly. And shout out to the clutch player of the year, De'Aaron Fox, man. Keep balling out. This man has been cooking Curry in his own shoes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is not to be played with, bro. He's an animal. He really is.
Straight beast. Straight beast.
How do you see the rest of the series going?
7 games. I want the 7.
You want the 7?
I want the 7. I want the 7. This series has been so good. I want the 7 games. I'm just calling it. Give me the 7.
Okay. I want 7 too, man.
Now, I will say this. If they do go to 7 and it's in Sacramento, Sacramento's probably going to take it.
Well, you know that Game 7 is in Sacramento if it goes that far.
Because it's been heated. Like, I feel like the Warriors, they can do it, but at the same time, the atmosphere that Sacramento has, and it's been amazing. Like, I'm going to change my pick to Sacramento if it goes 7.
Okay. I can definitely see that. It's hard for me to bet against the Warriors. You said people are sick of the dynasty, but at the same time, you have to respect the greatness.
You have to respect the greatness at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Like, what Steve Kerr has done for this team has been amazing.
It is, yeah.
But also, at the same time, you have to appreciate what Mike Brown has done to help bring Sacramento to where they are now.
And, you know, this is a topic we covered last week, but if anyone's going to know the ins and outs of how the Warriors work, it's going to be Mike Brown.
Yes, sir.
I can't put a number on it, man. I just want a good series. Even though I did pick the Warriors to win the finals. Like, if they lose in the first round, I'm not going to be mad.
Give me 7 games.
Yeah.
Give me 7.
Okay, 7 games. Okay, that leaves us with one last Western Conference series that's going on so far. This one's been
amazing, too.
It's been amazing, man, but I feel like we're being robbed here.
The injuries in this series are robbing us of a great series. Like, Kawhi Leonard being hurt now with the knee injury is robbing us. Paul George being out too, robbing us. This has been an amazing series all the way from Game 1 to Game 3. Game 3 the other night, Norman Powell and Russell Westbrook carried them to stay within the game. They almost won. And then D-Book, what can I say, man? D-Book has been incredible. He has been incredible. From Game 2 and Game 3, he's just been playing lights out. Mad respect to him.
What I respect about Devin Booker is he doesn't acquiesce to Kevin Durant. Just because he has KD on his team.
He's like, this is my team regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my team regardless. So
like he plays that alpha role. And even with KD there, and the two of them together is an incredible combination. You throw Chris Paul in there, but I stand by what I said. We're being robbed.
We're being robbed
of a great series. Norman Powell and Russell Westbrook and Bones Highland are carrying the Clippers right now, but we don't give a fuck about the Clippers if it's not for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
I want to see everybody healthy. Like, it's been hard at times, but also it's been great to see, like, if they can keep this team together and re-sign Westbrook, the sky's the limit on where this team can go. And it's been exciting to see Westbrook and KD battle it out. Westbrook's been getting them on a lot of it, especially that first game. He played lights out defense, even though he shot terribly. But it's been an amazing series to see.
Yeah,
so,
it has. Did you hear what Kevin Durant told Russell Westbrook on the court?
He's like, chill out, gangster.
Chill out, gangster. I don't want no smoke.
Look, it's been fun. Because, he like, hold on, gangster, hold on. And Westbrook's just like, I've been around you long enough to know how you play and stuff, so I'm going to bring it to you.
And honestly, I feel like Westbrook being from the streets and really being from the trenches, he could smell the bitch on Durant sometimes, And
he's like, come on, player, come on.
And I feel like he pokes and prods at it, trying to get a reaction.
He pokes him because he's like, I've been around you so long, I know how you're going to react. I loved it. I love seeing them compete against each other. It's great. Like, I enjoyed seeing them as teammates, but also seeing them compete 10 times better.
Yeah. No, definitely. They both bring that competitive edge to it. And then, the slight between Westbrook and Durant after the whole, Thunder situation, like, I sympathize with Westbrook.
It hurt so much. It hurt. It hurt a lot. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie. I felt like something good was taken away from being. I never recovered from it.
Yeah, that Thunder team was crazy, between Durant, Westbrook, and James Harden all on the same team, man. Like, what could have been?
That would have been a good ESPN 30 for 30.
Hey,
if that happens, pay me because
don't give them no idea. Siren Sports claims fucking ownership of that. Y'all motherfuckers better pay up.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do you see this series shaking out, man?
If Kawhi doesn't get back, it's gonna be done in 5.
I agree.
It's going to be done in 5 if he doesn't get back.
I agree.
Like, if he comes back, I want this one to go 7-2 because I've enjoyed it. But if Kawhi cannot get healthy, I don't know what's going on. They said he doesn't have a timeable return. If he doesn't get back in time, I think it's just going to go 5 and then Suns and Nuggets.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back, to be honest with you. Like,
we have to figure out what's going on with these injuries, especially when it comes to the teams staff. Like, we have to figure out why these players keep getting injured and stuff. I understand he's played like a lot of minutes, but he's missed so much time. Him and Paul George together.
Yeah, it's hard when you build a team and injuries just come and derail it. Like, you look at Jamal Murray the past couple years, where he hasn't been able to play in the playoffs since the bubble. And he's been hungry. He's been itching, trying to get back there to prove that the bubble wasn't a fluke. Whereas from Nuggets fans, you're going to have to prove it.
You're going to have to prove it. And then that's actually how I feel, too, about the way the Pelicans are. They got great with Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, and then Zion. But Zion hasn't been there to help establish the team. Because early on in the season, they were top 3. And then they slipped out to being in the play-in. And I'm wondering, what is going on for him to keep having these injuries, or does he not want to be there?
I don't think it's that he doesn't want to be there.
I'm just like, we have to figure out ways to take care of these players so they can play.
I don't know how to label that. I really don't.
Yeah, it's hard to label because I'm just like, it's happened so much, and you've missed more games than you've played, and you've been in the league for 3 years now.
Especially the hype that surrounded Zion when
exactly
he was coming in. Yeah, I feel like we could do a whole episode by itself on Zion and his legacy and the hype, what has and hasn't happened.
Exactly.
And we'll move on from there. So, man, the West is crazy.
It is.
The West is crazy, man. All right, we're going to bounce over to the Eastern Conference here. Eastern Conference playoffs have been something, too.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
I won't even lie. Very interesting.
We'll start with the bottom. We're going to take a look at Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks. Boston up 2-1.
You know, that game last night caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting Trey to come out and do what he did to help the team win because, like I said, the Celtics have been playing phenomenal all year, especially with their defense. So for them to give up a game, now they're just like, oh, nah, fuck that. We're finna finish you off now. Like, we took you lightly, but now it's just game on from here now.
Yeah, that's a switch that Boston needs to keep on.
Keep on.
Like, you can't take a game off in the playoffs.
At all.
Like,
you have to keep pushing.
You gave Trae Young some momentum now. So he's going to go in and he's going to be hot. He's going to be confident. And if he starts busting y'all down and wearing down y'all defense to the point where you're tired and you have to go 7 against Atlanta, how does that fare for the next matchup between Philadelphia and Boston if they make it that far?
Exactly.
Like, you know, you're going to go in tired having to defend Trae Young and the monstrosity that he brings on offense.
You have to keep the gas on. You have to keep pushing that shit because if not, you're just going to create another monster for yourself. And, yeah, he's getting his confidence now. So now that he's shooting lights out, he's like, shit, I got this shit. Yeah. Like, if I got to carry my team to the next round, I will.
Well, real superstars will do that.
Exactly.
And regardless of the odds, they're going to carry their team.
Exactly.
And do you think Atlanta has what it takes to overcome that Boston defense?
I don't think so. I'm still going with my pick on Boston. So I'll give them another win and say that they'll go 6 games, but I still think Boston's taking it regardless.
Got you. Yeah, I think Boston's too much for them.
Boston is too much firepower. Like, they got 6th man of the year on the team, Mr. Malcolm Brogdon. They got Jaylen Brown, Mr. JT himself. They got a stacked team. Marcus Smart, too, as well. Can't forget about him. I don't think the Hawks got it in them.
They have the firepower to compete, but if someone douses your firepower, what do you have?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Boston's taking it.
Boston.
I think... honestly, I relate this back to the Lakers' loss. I feel like you just slept on them.
You slept on them. You can't get too comfortable. You was up 2-0.
Yep. You didn't bring the juice. You didn't bring the energy, and they did. So what's it really going to be?
Exactly. They're just like, oh, that's cool. Like, we got this or whatever, and then it cost them. But still, I got Boston in 6.
Okay. I got Boston in 5. I think they're going to take the rest of the series. Let's jump up to the top of the Eastern Conference. Got Milwaukee and Miami tied at 1 apiece. How you feeling about that?
This one has been very interesting. I wasn't expecting Giannis to go down. So hopefully he recovers because, you know, that back injury, it's no joke. It really isn't. But I like this series. It's been pretty scrappy, too, as well. Yeah. I still think Milwaukee will pull it off. But I'll go 6 for Milwaukee too.
6 for Milwaukee. Yeah, it's definitely been a series, man. You know, the one thing that we really didn't touch on our predictions was injuries and how that would affect anything. Because you take one player out of a series, it changes the whole landscape. It changes
the whole landscape of the game.
And it really does. And Giannis going out in the MVP type season that he's having, like, you can't replace that.
You can't replace Giannis at all.
Like, yes, it's next man up and, you know, depth and, you know, build the bench and everything and all the cliches you could possibly throw out, but there's no replacing Giannis.
No replacing him at all.
Like, if he can't come back at a healthy level playing 100%, I don't see them making it out of the series.
It leads a big problem. If he cannot recover, then the Heat are just going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like, the Bucks did play very well, though. Without him in Game 2, they have to bring that to the next game as well. Like, you have to keep bringing that positive energy and working your ass off to win that next game because they played lights out the other day. So
that's easy to do on your home court.
Yeah, it's easy to do on your home court, but away it's different. Mm-hmm. So you just gonna have to bring it the whole series regardless. You can't let up. Keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, and hopefully the team, especially Chris Middleton, they can step up and play big in the absence of Giannis because that's what it's gonna take.
It's going to take all that.
Yeah, it's going to take everything they have. I know you chose Milwaukee to win the championship. The injury obviously has put a bit of a roadblock in that. How do you feel this series shakes out?
If Giannis returns, 6 games. If Giannis returns 6 games, them. But if Giannis doesn't return, then the Miami Heat are going to take advantage of that and be into the next round. That's just the way I see it.
Okay.
Giannis not playing right now is going to hurt them in the end. Mm-hmm. Like, they have to figure out how long he's going to be out for and if they can get him back into the series because it's going to be a big issue without him playing.
Definitely. I think this series is going 6 regardless. I think if Giannis comes back, it's Milwaukee in 6. If he doesn't, Miami in 6. Miami has a championship pedigree that without Giannis, Milwaukee's not going to be able to overtake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I see that shaking. So, all right, Cleveland and New York.
Oh, this one would be interesting too. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Cleveland played the best defense I've seen last night. They are the first team to hold another team below 80 points all season.
Wow.
All season.
Wow.
All season, every team has scored above 80 points until last night, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So Donovan Mitchell and Mr. Garland played a terrible game last night. I don't know what happened, but this is an interesting series too.
It's definitely an interesting series. If I'm being honest, I didn't give the Knicks a chance. So for them to be up 2-1 right now, it speaks a lot to their prowess and their desire and their championship heart.
They want it.
Yeah, they don't want to lay down and take it. They're going to put up a fight, which I respect the hell out of. And I'm interested to see where it goes. I don't think I'm going to change my pick. I had Cleveland winning. I still think they win. And I think it's going 7.
I love to see a 7 too. I ain't even going to lie.
Yeah,
there's so many games that are good going on now because we're just sitting there. We did our predictions last week. We're just like, where could this go? Where could this go? But now we're seeing it actually happen in time. I'm like, oh, yeah, I want a lot of these games to go 7 because I'm like, they're so good. Like, you're giving the people what they want.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, 7 games. Especially like in the later rounds, once it starts going 7, man, it's
it gets so good.
The intensity.
It's just like you have to keep watching and like, let me go get my popcorn real quick. Like,
yeah, if it's going 7, who you see winning?
Cleveland in 7.
Cleveland in 7.
Cleveland in 7.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
They'll find a way to win. Plus, it'll be on their home court.
There's a reason I saved this series for last. You have the Philadelphia 76ers up 3-0 over the Brooklyn Nets. But we got to talk about some shit here.
Let's get this out of the way first. I just want to say this. Brooklyn, what is going on? I seriously want to know what's going on because you've had like a lead in all 3 games and just let them come back and win. Like, the second half, you've given up. What is going on for you? You've had the games in hand. I just need to know.
I expected Philadelphia to beat their ass. So that's not a big deal to me. To me, the deal is the way the refs are handling the entire situation that happened in the last game. So you have Joel Embiid straight kicking a guy. Straight kicking him in his dick. Excuse the language. But just gets a flagrant 1. James Harden
gets ejected. But you go back to Draymond Green, he gets suspended for a game. Joel Embiid's action was worse than Harden's. It was worse than Draymond's, if I'm being honest, because we look at it. The NBA sitting there like, oh, we suspended Draymond Green because of his past history. He didn't do nothing wrong in that situation. If you could look, Sabonis had his ankle tied up too.
No, if I'm being honest, Draymond G stopped the fuck.
But he did stomp him. I will say that he did stomp him. But I'm like, how do you give him a suspension, but you're not giving Embiid a suspension?
Yeah, Embiid should be suspended. And what pissed me off even more is the fact that he gets on the mic after the fact during the press conference and he talks about how mature he is and how he knows no one's gonna fucking get a reaction. You just gave him a reaction. What the fuck are you talking about? You literally kicked somebody in the dick and then had the balls to say that, oh, you're mature and no one's gonna get a reaction. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's just trolling at this point.
Yeah,
right?
And for Harden to get kicked out,
BS.
Granted, with James Harden, there is a history of those types of moves. This isn't the first time that that's been brought to national attention, that he's been, low blowing people. But I view that more as incidental contact than anything.
Exactly.
For him to be thrown out of that game
Insane.
Was crazy.
Like, the refs got too much of a hold on this series, and it's 3-0. Like, let them play.
Let him play. I can't say shout out to Bridges for trying to carry his team.
Oh, yeah, he's been playing phenomenal. Like, him being traded, like I said last week, him being traded from the Suns to Brooklyn has given him shine to where he could be a superstar.
And honestly, it pissed him off.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving your heart and soul to a team, and they turn around and just trade you for someone, obviously for Kevin Durant. Like, anyone would make that trade. Yeah. But it just lit a fire.
It lit a fire in him. And but I feel bad.
If they can get some surrounding pieces around him, I feel like that team will be good. Championship level, I don't know championship level, but they'll be at least...
They'll be contenders because they're in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Shout out to my Italian folk.
But, like I said, still, regardless at the end of the day, no matter how we see it, Philly's sweeping them in 4. They're going to get swept today. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. I feel like Embiid should be suspended for today's game.
They're not going to suspend him.
They're not going to suspend him, but he should be.
The MVP race, how it's going on right now, he's not going to get suspended.
No.
But I will say this, he has not been the main focal point in this playoff series.
No, he hasn't.
Tyrese Maxey has been carrying the team to greatness. When they were down game 2, game 1, he was bailing them out. He's bailing them out game 3. He's been playing phenomenal.
Yeah, Tyrese Maxey's been putting on, bro. He's been balling out. Joel Embiid not being such a huge part. If I was to tell you at the start of the series that Embiid really isn't playing a huge role in this series, you would think that the Sixers are in trouble. They're up 3-0.
They're up 3-0. But how far can that get them is the real question.
Until they run into a buzzsaw of the Boston Celtics. It's obviously going to go 4. I think they're getting swept. Get the brooms out.
Sweep them down.
Brooklyn, y'all better start planning for next year because I know y'all going to want to see Philly again. Y'all going to want that rematch.
Exactly.
Well, all right. That covers it for our breakdown of the NBA playoffs first round so far, man. It's going to get interesting. It's only going to get more and more exciting. I can't wait.
We still got a lot to cover.
Yep. But all right, we're going to move on to our next topic. Let me change up the color here. Let's go. Let's go green because there's gonna be some money made tonight.
Who gonna be in they bag? Who get in the purse? We don't know. We don't know who gonna win.
All right, for our next topic, we're gonna cover the super fight that is Gervonta Tank Davis versus King Ryan Garcia. The super fight we've all been fucking waiting for. 2 superstars, 2 undefeated champions going toe-to-toe in the middle of a ring tonight. How do you see this going down?
I ain't even gonna lie. It's gonna be funny as hell because I've been seeing on Facebook everybody talking about, oh, Ryan gonna win, Tank gonna win. Honestly, I see it being a tie. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Okay. I see it being a tie because you're gonna bring more money into the fight. The more you keep, like, when they had Canelo versus Triple G, tie. What'd they do? Do it again. More money came up. Yeah. It's going to tie.
There's going to be a clear winner of the fight.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a clear winner, but the judges are going to be like, oh, it's a tie.
Unless it's a knockout, then the judges are going to say it's a tie. But I think both of these guys are hungry for a knockout in this fight.
Oh, yeah. They've been talking that talk.
Yeah.
They've been talking talk. They've been betting they purse at the end of the day. I'm curious. I want to watch it, but like I said, the way I see it, there's so much money for a next fight, I feel like it's going to be a tie.
If Ryan Garcia wins, there's going to be a rematch.
Oh, yeah.
If Tank wins...
No rematch.
He don't want it. I already beat you. What do I need to fuck with you for?
And plus, he's like, I'm the champ. Well, I don't need another rematch against you.
It's funny watching the face-offs for these fights. They're in each other's face. They're talking mad shit. Like, it's entertaining.
It's entertaining, but at the end of the day, they still respect each other.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, don't let the shit talk fool you.
Exactly.
Like, they're not sleeping on each other's power. They know what they're up against. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help but laugh. I was watching this video, preparing for today. Tank put up a picture of Ryan Garcia on his punching bag, and he's training with that on his bag.
Oh, wow. Look, he said my troll game on 1,000.
Oh, definitely. Talking about this fight, what do you think of all the limitations that got put on Garcia in this contract?
I don't know too much of it, but like, go ahead and tell me, because like, I pay attention to boxing, but I don't watch it enough to be knowing like what had to be made for this fight to happen.
So essentially, there's a rehydration clause for Ryan Garcia. He cannot weigh more than 146 pounds, 10 more than their contracted catch weight of 136 when he enters the ring for his 12-round fight versus Davis at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 5'10" Garcia agreed to drop back down to the lightweight limit of 135 pounds to face Davis after weighing in at junior welterweight, maximum of 140 pounds prior to his last fight. Though he mentioned the rehydration clause as a concession during their press conference, Garcia doesn't believe the cap on his weight will hinder him in fight night. He's changing the goalpost on him. No, you need to weigh this month. Oh, no, we're going to drop it back down. No, we're going to move it back. And he keeps changing the goalpost. So I'm surprised this contract even happened at all.
What it sounds like is they've taken strategy from when they were with when Tank was with Mayweather Promotions, and they're using strategy to Tank's advantage to beat him. That's honestly what it sounds like to me. Because, like in Floyd's fights, his old fights, he used to have set rules from his promotions and stuff to give to the fighter if he wanted to fight him.
Yeah, so, no, there was definitely rules fighting Floyd.
Yeah.
And Floyd picked his battles. When you're the champion, when you're undefeated, you set the rules. I just feel like it's mind games.
Oh, yeah, it's mind games. That's what Floyd was the best at it. Yeah. So he's learned from being in Floyd's promotion that you got to play mind games when it comes to the other fighters. Because as much as he wanted to fight him, Ryan wanted to fight him more. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, okay, well, if we're going to fight, we're going to do it by my rules.
Yeah, it's a Floyd tactic.
Yeah, it's interesting when it comes to boxing because it's not like the UFC where Dana White makes the set rules and, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, there's multiple promotions when it comes to the boxing, and you have to go by their rules.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out.
It definitely is. I think the way it ends up shaking out is going to determine what happens next.
Yep.
I just want a good fucking fight. I want to see some fucking haymakers.
He wants to see blood.
Yeah.
All right, so who do you got winning then?
I mean, you going to make me pick?
I got to make you pick. The people want to hear it. You got to pick. Come on. This is what we're here for.
All right, man. I'm going to go Davis.
Okay.
I'm going to go Davis, but I don't take that decision lightly. I think at any moment Ryan could hit him with a crazy-ass hook that just drops him.
Anything can happen in the world of boxing.
2 knockout specialists, man, going toe-to-toe. I can't ask for much more.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Who you picking?
A tie.
I mean, there ain't no ties in this motherfucker.
No, there is ties because I know how this works. There's a tie.
Okay, well, if somebody's getting knocked out, who's knocking who out?
I got to go with... Got to go with Tank. What can I say?
Okay, so what we're going to do...
he's a pretty good dancer, too, also, by the way. I seen his little video. He was getting it. I ain't even going to lie.
All right, y'all. So here's what we're going to do since the way this is shaking out. We are recording this podcast the day of the fight. It's not going to come out until afterwards, so obviously you guys will have seen the fight and know how everything's going to happen by the time you see this episode. We are going to circle back next week, and we're going to touch on how everything happened and give a breakdown after that.
We will see how it goes.
All right, Rico. This coming Thursday, round 1
of the NFL draft.
Of the motherfucking NFL draft. The future is here. Are you excited?
I love the draft because, every time Roger Goodell comes out, he gets booed. So every time he comes out, boo. And I'm like, you can't try to turn it down on the TV. I'm like, no matter how much you try to fix it, everyone hates him.
Bruh.
But that's a different story for a different day. So
I mean, honestly, I don't know that it is a different story for a different day because we're touching on a little bit of that later. And Roger Goodell, as much as people hate him, he's the face that just gets the hate. If you really break it down, he just works for the NFL owners.
He just gives me Mr. McMahon vibes.
Like it's the NFL owners that tell him what to do.
They're
the ones that pay his paycheck, and he's just the public face to take the heat that they don't want to take.
Why you think the Dallas Cowboys get all these night games in prime time? Nobody wants to see that shit.
I don't know, bro. That is America's team. Believe me, I hate the Cowboys.
America's team. I don't know if it's America's team.
It's America's team.
It's America's team.
No, definitely. So, NFL draft, this is one of my favorite times of year. I love sitting down and looking at the film of all the college. But I don't keep up with college football all that much until they get to the pros, until it's draft time. And the amount of talent entering into the NFL every year, it blows my mind, man. And
it's fun.
Just seeing the future tomorrow or tomorrow's stars take the stage and get their moment, see them, break down in tears, hugging their mama because they know their life just changed.
Mama, I did it. Did they buy their mama a new house and everything? You love to see it.
And they buy their mama a new house, new car, and all their relatives are mad at them because they ain't giving them money now. And
unless you sitting there sad like Johnny Manziel, like, am I going to get picked? Am I going to get picked?
Bro, I can't help but feel sorry for guys like that. They invite you out, and they literally put a camera on you as it focuses as your stock is dropping, and you're sitting there checking your phone.
Look, Lamar had the greatest story out of it, though. He sat there the whole time, stay humbled, and look where he's at now. Superstar.
Not bad for a running back per one NFL executive.
But what I enjoy about this draft the most is you don't know who's going number one. Mm-hmm. It is a toss-up. So I'm curious to see, is we going to get a quarterback? Because there's 3 quarterbacks.
Oh, it's going to be a quarterback for sure.
That say could go number one. So I don't know. How you feel about that? Who do you think is going to go number one?
First and foremost, has to be a quarterback. Carolina's not going to trade up to the number 1 overall pick unless they know who the fuck they're taking.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest drawback on Carolina right now? They need a quarterback.
I will say that they're crazy, though, because the Bears took everything from them. That trade was insane, but they know what they're doing, so I can't judge them. But hopefully, by them getting this quarterback in the later rounds, they'll find other players that they can build around him because you need receivers, you need linemen, you need running backs. So
yeah, I was not a fan of that trade for the Panthers when it happened.
Oh yeah, they got robbed completely and we're okay with it.
It's too early in Dave Tepper's ownership of the Carolina Panthers to really understand like what he's doing or what trajectory they're going on, and obviously he's trying to fix the team.
Yeah,
but there's points in times where you don't pay the King's gambit to move up. So it's going to be a quarterback. Honestly, I'm leaning towards Bryce Young. I could see
that's not a bad pick at all.
I could see Bryce Young going number 1. Carolina needs a revamp.
They do, and Bryce Young is a very phenomenal player. He played under the greatest college football coach. You heard it. I'm saying the greatest college football coach that ever exists, Nick Saban. A lot of people don't think that he's the right guy for there, but I think long as they match the style of how he plays, they can be very successful. Bryce Young was a very phenomenal player at Alabama. Sorry.
I think regardless who they choose, whether it's C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson, they'll be successful as long as they put in a system in place where they don't put too much responsibility on the rookie quarterback.
Exactly. That's how I feel about all 3 quarterbacks. No matter where they go, if they find a system that works for them and doesn't put all the pressure on them, they can live up to the hype.
Yeah. I don't know. There's ways that you could lean either way. I don't see any can't miss prospects at the quarterback position this year. Mm-hmm. It's hard to pinpoint that. I mean, with quarterback, you never know.
You never know. It's like a hit or miss. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Honestly, the draft in itself is a total crapshoot.
There's a lot of good guys that came out of college that were good. Once they got to the NFL, they just became a bust.
Mm-hmm. So, or there's players that you never would have imagined that barely got drafted, that worked their way up the roster, and now all of a sudden they're all pros.
Or that didn't get drafted and they're all pros.
Yeah,
it's a hit or miss, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, it's a complete crapshoot. You can never put too much stock in the draft. Well, yes, it's nice to sit here and hype it up as, the stars of tomorrow, which, I mean, it is true. There are new stars entering the NFL, new game changers. Mm-hmm. But to say that it's down to an exact science and every expert out there knows what they're talking about, people can sit there and claim to be experts. No one knows a fucking thing about what's going to happen in the future.
Exactly. You are completely right. I will ask you this, though, since the draft is coming up and the Broncos don't have a first-round pick. What do you think the Broncos will draft first? What do you think we need the most?
With the Broncos, it's hard for me to still not feel like offensive line is a big need. Even though they did just sign Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey, there could still potentially be a weak spot at center. I could also see them getting a pass rusher. Yeah,
I think that or a pass rusher, but also corner, because when it comes to size on corner, our tallest corner is Pat Surtain. Mm-hmm. So,
and as good as Pat Surtain is, you can't depend on him to cover the whole
you can't depend on him to cover the whole field. So that's why I'm like, we need more depth and a little bit more height at the same time. So that's why I'm like, I don't know where we go. I don't know where we go for him. So
I'm happy with a lot of the moves that the Broncos made in free agency, but I feel like they should have went out and signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, that one, we needed that one bad. And especially because Detroit got him for a 1-year deal.
It was like 1 year, $8 million or something
Yeah,
like that.
and I'm like, we had enough cap space to go out and go get him. So
Yeah.
by us not getting someone on defense to help, I'm a little disappointed on us not getting him.
Sean Payton is showing a lot of faith in Caden Stearns to take over that Kareem Jackson role.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll do phenomenal there. Because you can see the times where he's gotten a start and play when Kareem was hurt. He actually played pretty good.
No, Caden Stearns has played tremendous.
Yeah.
Like given the opportunities.
Yeah.
But
He makes the most out of it, and he's learned from two of the best with Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons. So, he might have his bumps and bruises where he messes up, but that happens to everybody.
Yeah,
he's going to learn from
perfect.
Justin Simmons more and more each and every week.
I just feel like, pass rusher is a huge need. I mean, you can never go bad with running back either, even though they have, Gervonta Williams and Samaje Perine. Williams is coming off completely tearing every ligament in his knee.
Yeah.
Is he going to be healthy? Is he ever going to be able to get back to the bruiser that he was?
Yeah, like those injuries aren't no joke.
They're not. Like, especially, you tear your ACL, that's one thing. You tear your MCL, that's another thing. You tear your PCL, that's another thing. But when you do it all at once,
it's a long recovery back,
Yeah.
and you have to get that confidence to come back
Yeah.
and be the player that you were.
and you can run, you can lift, you can do all that, but until you take a handoff and you get busted, you're not going to know. There's no practice for playing football unless you're just playing football.
And I will say, playing running back is one of the most dangerous positions to play. Like, you're running through holes, and you don't know. Somebody can come through the hole flying, tear your knee out. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game to play.
It's many car accidents every play, man. So
Exactly.
I mean, it's a lot of trauma on your body, and running backs don't last long.
They don't.
So you have to ask yourself, can Gervonta Williams come back? Is Samaje Perine, who is also a bigger bruiser back, are they going to be able to carry the load, or do they need someone else in there? Maybe a speed back.
I think we also need some speed at the same time too, because having a little bit of speed goes a long way. So
I agree. That's where I feel like the Broncos should reach out to somebody like Phillip Lindsay.
I would love to see Phillip Lindsay come back. I feel like the way they went about it was just like it was so fucked up to me, because he went from undrafted to back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. First undrafted rookie to ever make the Pro Bowl.
Exactly. I feel like they did him so wrong with the last management. He deserves another shot.
I think he does too. John Elway literally took the stand and said, "We're working on getting Phillip Lindsay re-signed," and then they cut him.
Which is crazy.
It just doesn't make sense. And then to go out and sign Melvin Gordon, I understand Phillip Lindsay has his drawbacks. He is not the best pass catcher.
And he's not the tallest running back.
No, and he's not the best blocker either.
But you get something more productive out of him than Melvin Gordon, because you obviously seen it. We cut him at the end of the season. He was hurting us. The ball carrying and stuff. You've been in the league so long, and I love Melvin Gordon. I try my hardest to defend him, but at times, a lot of times, he was hurting us in games that were very close with the fumbles.
Yeah. With Melvin Gordon, he never endeared himself to me.
I feel like he was just here for the bag. Once he got to last year, he's just he knows the fan base hated him. He's just all right, well, I'm just gonna be here for the bag.
I'm gonna say this, Melvin Gordon, you were right. We can't fucking stand your ass, bruh. Stay the fuck over there. And it pisses me the fuck off that this motherfucker gets a Super Bowl ring after the end of last year.
It was funny though, because he was like, I ain't have to do nothing. That was the funniest thing to me. He was like, I ain't do nothing. At least he's taking ownership for saying he didn't do nothing for that ring. So most people were just like, I did what I had to do. But I give him respect. He's like, I got carried, so I can respect that.
I feel like he was just trolling Broncos. I feel like that was his thing. So Melvin Gordon, I hate you with a passion. I wish you well in life, but I hope you fucking never play football again.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes, and believe me, I have a feeling I'm speaking for 95% of Broncos country. All right, we'll move on to a different topic other than Melvin Gordon. Get back to the draft. So Denver has 2 third rounds this year. Say they traded him and moved back into the first round. What position would you want him to try?
Oh, wow. If we did that, honestly, it would have to be a corner. I'm going to say a corner or another lineman, especially because we don't know if Garrett Bowles is fully going to be healthy this year too,
Fair enough.
because he's coming back from his injury as well.
Yeah,
So,
I was actually at the game where he broke his leg. And
Yeah.
I was sitting two rows away from the field, and I saw him get rolled up on, and I said, before they even said anything, I go, that's not good.
yeah,
That's
like
not good.
tackle has been our weak spot. We have to make sure we have great tackles.
I'm glad that the Broncos addressed the tackle situation.
Yeah, I'm glad they did.
But did they overpay for Mike McGlinchey?
Hey, I say you roll with it. You got to get what you can get, and
Fair enough.
he's a pretty good lineman. So
He is a good lineman. He definitely has his drawbacks, but I mean every player does.
every player does.
Yeah, so I mean you can't expect anybody to be perfect. When you look at the second round pick for the Broncos last year, Nick Bonito, he didn't play up to the level of a second round pick.
yeah,
And, apparently the Broncos had a first round grade on him. And we're surprised that he fell that far back in the draft. I need to see more production out of him. I need to see that first round grade. Because as of right now, you can't do shit in the run game, bro. Yeah, you could pass rush, but, I mean, are you setting the edge? Are you able to stop that run? Are you able to get that running back to bounce back inside? Right now, no.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, especially if Randy Gregory can't stay healthy and Baron Browning's gonna need some help. Like he's still developing also as well.
He is.
I'm a big advocate for my team, so I say we at least make a push for the playoffs. But that's a different segment for a different day. So
Yeah, that's definitely a different segment for a different day. It's hard for me to get super excited, being that the Broncos don't have a first round pick.
Yeah.
But hey, it's still draft time. Still excited to see the future. What do you think is the biggest strength of this draft?
Honestly, there's a lot of corners that are coming out there really good.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and then after that, it's probably linemen. Honestly, there's always great linemen coming out. Like the way these colleges produce linemen is insane. So
Yeah.
I would say that and corners.
Me personally, I feel like edge rusher is a huge asset in this draft. I could see a couple really good tight ends going later in the draft.
Also, some great running backs too.
Yeah, there's definitely some good running backs that you're going to be able to pick up later for especially a team like the Broncos who doesn't have a first round pick.
Yeah.
I love NFL draft time. I really do. I'm gonna change this color up and we're gonna get into our next topic. It's gonna be our last one for the day. All right, Rico. There's been some major happenings in the NFL in terms of one specific team. And I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. Dan Snyder, their owner, has officially agreed to sell the team.
Oh, thank God.
There's a current bid in place. It's been agreed to, but it's not exclusive, meaning someone could come in at the last second and offer more.
Money.
And that's with the Philadelphia 76ers owner Josh Harris and his investment group are bidding $6 billion for the Washington Commanders.
Oh, so they'll be the highest team
That is
to be paid for, even though the Broncos just were, but then they were like, okay, we're gonna do 6. So
if this sale goes through, which it's either going to be this number or a higher amount,
yeah,
they will be the most expensive sale of a sports franchise in history. Where you just said it, the Broncos were number 2 when they got sold to Rob Walton last year for $4.6 billion, but this shatters that.
Yeah,
$6 billion. But you look at the history of the Washington Commanders. They are a storied franchise. Like going way back in the day.
Back in the day.
They were considered one of the best franchises before Dan Snyder took over.
I was just going to tell you, too, if you look at the time that he's bought the team since 1999, they haven't been to a NFC title game since 92, but also at the same time, ever since he acquired them in 99, they are 164, 220, and 2.
I think that's 27th in the league if I'm remembering right. So you buy a team. So let's go back to the very beginning. Dan Snyder grew up a Redskins fan, turned himself into a mogul, made himself worth billions, and then turns around and buys his hometown team. Obviously wanting to recapture. They had a loyal fan base, championship history, and flushed it down the toilet. Flushed it down the toilet.
I will get this out of the way now. He's like the worst NFL owner I've ever seen. I've really been waiting on to speak this ever since you told me the other day about this segment. What he did for the Sean Taylor Memorial was plain out just disrespectful and terrible. Like,
you want to break that down for the people who don't know?
So what he did was most teams give statues to their best players that they've ever had, retire their jersey and whatnot. But he puts Sean Taylor's jersey in a fucking glass box with like these robot arms and stuff instead of giving him a statue. And you could at least put the statue up in the stadium or whatever, move it for when you get the new stadium. But you just put his fucking helmet and his gear onto like a robot mannequin or whatever. Fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's disrespectful, man. Sean Taylor, he deserves respect. That was honestly, outside of being a great man, he was a great player.
Great player.
And his promising life and his promising career got cut short. So to treat him like that,
I think that's just terrible from my owner's perspective.
Yeah, for sure, it really is.
Like,
there's a lot to Dan Snyder when it comes to his toxic environment and the culture that he created while the owner of the Commanders, back then the Redskins. You go back to him hiring Marty Schottenheimer as a coach. Marty Schottenheimer is a storied coach. Now, granted, his team started 0-5 that year. They finished 8-8, went 8-3 over the last 11 games. What does he do? Fires him. He's had a horrible track record with coaches. And this comes back to the people that he chooses to put in his front office. Instead of hiring NFL executives, he hires his buddies. He has his buddies in there playing GM. And you know why he has his buddies in there playing GM? Because he wants to make all the football decisions. Granted, they're in the same division, so they're rivals, of course. But this man looks up to Jerry Jones. He wants to be that man. He wants to be that dude.
Well, it's not working out.
No, it's not. It's not even working out for Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's going to work for you? You look at the decisions that they've made. They made the worst free agent signing in the history of the NFL, giving Albert Hainsworth a 7-year, $100 million contract. In a time when, $100 million contracts weren't handed out like that. Grant, nowadays you get $500 million contracts. That was not the norm back then. Mm-hmm. So for them to give him that contract is not just him. The MO of the Washington Redskins, I'm calling them that because that's what they were at the time, was to sign aging veterans that were good back in the day, which is where you get signings like Deion Sanders, Jeff George, Andre Reed. You know what I'm saying? So they were just more or less trying to build a fantasy team rather than build a contender to actually do something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that because I remember they had Donovan McNabb like at the end of his career.
Jason Taylor, like Adrian Peterson. To this day, it's still going on. So
and they have great players on the team right now. They have Chase Young. They have Scary Terry, but I just don't understand. How could someone be an owner this long and the NFL is just like okay with it?
And that's because we circle back to Roger Goodell. It's Roger Goodell's job to care for and protect the owners from any scrutiny. Like they don't want that shit, and that's another thing. This man cannot handle anybody saying anything about him. It got to the point where he was so tired of the radio stations around the DC area bashing him, he went and bought all the radio stations that covered him so he can control his narrative.
Mr. Petty.
Mr. Petty.
Mr. Petty right there. Mr. Petty's worth. Oh, man.
There was an article written about Dan Snyder and his toxic environment. And what does he do? He sues the journalist. The man sues everybody. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got sued for talking about it right now. We ain't got no money. Leave us alone, bitch.
I don't got shit. I'm going to keep it real. You can have this dollar in my pocket.
Just on top of the toxic work environment, this man was greedy. He went out of his way to nickel and dime his fan base at every opportunity that he did.
Oh, yeah, I feel like they get cheated. The state of the team with that stadium that they're in right now is complete dog water.
Yeah, how many people get injured on Washington's field, FedEx Field?
Their fans were getting injured. The guardrails fell off, and Jalen Hurts looked down like, oh, the fans are with us. Like, this team has been so terrible because of him. Like, now they're trying to get a new stadium and stuff. I feel like they have more success at getting a new stadium when they get new ownership instead of with him because he's just made it a living hell. Like, he's like, this is my team. I'm going to do what I want with it. And you're paying for it. Like,
they definitely need new ownership, and I'm glad that it's happening. So keep in mind, all this is covered. This is pretty much on the field stuff. All this is covered before we even get to the sexual assault allegations of what was going on inside the Redskins.
Oh, no.
Inside the Washington Commanders. Keep in mind, this is all allegations. I don't know if anything's been proven. We're just talking about it. This man got put on blast, got exposed for having his cheerleaders do forced topless shoots. Like, there was text messages to female employees. Heinous shit.
Oh, this is wild. Like, this ain't the Playboy Mansion. Like,
no.
What you doing, homeboy?
This is a professional multi-billion-dollar, organization.
Exactly.
And there used to be tapes that were filmed
The no-no tapes.
Of the no-no tapes. And they used to call them, to my understanding, the good bits. Where it was, some pretty explicit stuff of female employees or cheerleaders. But when you have your friends up in the front office with you, I'm sure y'all are just kicking back, putting the tape on.
Where's the cancel culture after this? Did I missed out on this? Where has the cancel culture been for this?
I mean, that's because cancel culture it picks and chooses what it wants. Y'all can try to cancel us. Y'all ain't gonna stop us ever. See, y'all know.
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
And we circle back to the whole name change. The Washington Redskins to the Washington football team to the Washington Commanders.
They could have stayed the football team. I'd have been.
I mean, yeah. I think honestly it's kind of irrelevant to the conversation. My biggest problem with that was, you go back to 2013, he's quoted as saying, "You can put it in caps. We are never changing the name. Ever." After decades of protest, his fan base made it clear, like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Your times change. There's stuff that was acceptable
back then.
That's not acceptable now. Yeah, you grew up a Redskins fan, but that's obviously become offensive to a huge fucking portion of the population.
Exactly.
As times change, you got to change too. Mm-hmm. And if not, you're going to get swept up. You're going to be looked at in a bad light. This is a completely unrelated topic, but it circles back around into the same track. If you don't change, you're going to be looked at horribly. If you go back and look, do you know the Candy Sugar Babies?
Yep.
Back in the day, those were called a completely different name.
I believe it.
Obviously, they changed it with time, but people don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. They'll talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, they talk about a lot of things. They don't talk about that. That just shows if you adapt with the culture will be more accepting of you.
Exactly. And if you don't adapt, you might as well pack up your bags.
And what pissed me off even more is he didn't budge on that until Pepsi and FedEx said, if you don't change the name, we're going to pull our sponsorships from your team. Then he was worried about it.
Because it had to do with his money. That's the reason why.
In the press release about changing the name, about how they decided they were finally going to do it, who did he decide to list first? His sponsors. Before his fans, before his employees, anybody else, his sponsors.
He doesn't care about his players, his fan base. And I'm pretty sure once this is all said and done, the Washington fans are going to be happy and free. Mm-hmm. I think you'll see more people in the seats. It's just going to be interesting how long this is going to take. Hopefully it's sooner than later.
Yeah, I hope it is. Washington deserves a fresh start.
They do. They've gone through a lot of bad times.
Yeah, man. With the owner that nickel and dimes and sues everybody, bruh.
And they have a great up-and-coming team now, so this is the time to do it. Get rid of him, start over, and continue to build your team.
Mm-hmm. Dan Snyder, that man was so cheap. There's stories of him buying year-old peanuts to sell at the game from an airline company that had been out of business for over a year, and he's serving that to his fan base. He's the first owner to charge fans to go to training camp.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the first one to roll that one out. I don't know if it's been done since.
I'll say it now. If the Broncos charge, there's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, there's gonna be some major issues.
A lot of fans are gonna be very upset. I'll tell you that now.
And this one got me. This one got me bad. So 2008, right? In the middle of a recession, people are losing their houses.
Obama,
yes, hope.
Hope. I'm Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I approve this message.
Yeah, people are losing their houses. People are going through a really tough financial time. A lot happening in that time. Banks making loans that they had no business making. And the whole economy goes upside down. Obviously, that's going to affect your fan base. Obviously, that's going to affect your ticket sales. What does Dan Snyder do? He turns around and sues the season ticket holders that are no longer able to pay for their tickets.
Oh, yeah, he Mr. Petty. Dan gon' Dan. Y'all hear that? Dan's gonna do what Dan gotta do. This man got all the money in the world, and Dan gonna do what Dan gotta do. He is so petty.
Yeah. So, including, there was a story that specifically made the news. It was like a 70-year-old woman who worked as a real estate agent. Obviously, real estate during the 2008 times is probably the worst industry to be in.
Oh, yeah.
And so she reached out to the Redskins and was like, hey, can I waive my tickets this year? and she got served papers back.
Dan gone Dan.
Dan is gone Dan. And man, it gets me even more mad talking about it. The fact that this motherfucker just got paid $6 billion for his franchise.
Dan gone Dan.
Dan is gone Dan.
Man, this got to be the most pettiest man on earth that I know. Oh, this is crazy. See, just learning about this, all bad. Yeah, the team got to hurry up and get sold.
Yeah,
it's for the best.
Okay, and there's another little wrinkle in here I want to get your reaction on. So when all the sexual harassment allegations started coming out in Washington, there was a specific newspaper that reported it, and it was the Washington Post. We'll circle back to that here in a second. Now that they're selling the team, one of the people that was considering buying and even got a group together to explore it, Jeff Bezos.
Amazon,
exactly.
Prime.
So, Washington Post, the newspaper that reported the article about all the sexual harassment going on in Washington, is owned by Jeff Bezos. So
he said, "I got something for your ass. Watch this news article."
Yeah. And so that's owned by Jeff Bezos. And since it's owned by Jeff Bezos, rumor is Dan Snyder refused to sell to him.
He said, "Fuck no."
So yeah, petty Dan Snyder.
Dan gone Dan.
Dan's gone Dan. Man, honestly, this is just scratching the surface. There is so much that happened in his 24 years of running the Washington Commanders that we would not be able to have time to sit and break it all down. But just know there's a lot of scumbags in this world. Especially if your name is Dan, last name Snyder. And you used to own the Washington Commanders. Like, there's... Dan gone Dan. Dan's gone Dan. But, I'm past calling him a scumbag, man. Honestly, I'm going to lean into that. He's a piece of shit. I'm going to lean hard into that.
I said we get some Dan's Gonna Dan merch.
Dan's gonna Dan merch.
Nah, he might sue us for it, so never mind. Cut that out.
I mean, if we do, we got to sell it red and yellow and market it in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm sure they would
give him a
that.
little fake mustache and everything.
Well, I don't know. He's getting older now. That white beard is starting to pop out a little bit on him.
We'll give him a unibrow. Yeah. But like, that's not you. That's Daniel.
That is Dante Snyder.
That's Dante.
But yeah, man, I'm happy they're moving on. Washington, I send happy vibes y'all way, man. Y'all have suffered for too long. Well, all right, Rico. I think we have had a great episode today. A lot of discussions, a lot going on in the world of sports, and I'm glad that we're able to be sitting down and talking about it, and to be able to have this conversation in these crazy times. It's beautiful, man.
Very enjoyable. I love it. I live for it. To all my listeners out there, just don't be like Dan.
Don't be like Dan.
Don't be like Dan. Don't be like dickhead Dan. Dan's gonna Dan, but be like somebody else.
Yeah. Don't be like somebody else. Be yourself.
Facts. Be yourself. Honestly, at the end of the day, be yourself, because don't try to be nobody else. Be yourself, because people are gonna appreciate you more for you being you.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. Well, Rico, I appreciate you coming through and us sitting down, being able to have the discussions that we've had today. Siren Sports, man, it's a real thing. We gonna do this motherfucker every week.
Episode 2 done now. Episode 3 on the way.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Episode 3 on the way. Rico, you want to plug your social medias for the folks?
Follow me on that young Instagram at Father Juice. FATHA Juice. Okay? Because I know some of y'all probably can't spell father, but follow me on the gram, follow me on TikTok at the same thing. Yeah, definitely. And I'm on, Instagram and TikTok is Town5280. If you want to make sure and follow Siren Sports on all social medias, we are at Siren Sports Pod. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that channel, man. Subscribe.
If you want to watch the video will be dropping exclusively on YouTube. And man, I'm happy to announce we are officially live on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on anywhere you get your podcast. Look up Siren Sports. We right there in that bitch.
Let them know.
Hey, I go by the name of Town. Across from me is Rico. We are Siren Sports, and we are out this bitch. Catch y'all next week. Siren Sports is part of the Imprint Media Network.